they might ask, do you have any questions for me? So these are all sort of rhetorical. I don't have the SEP answering these in this video, but I provide this for SEPs who are watching. Several questions that you can answer yourself. You can leave in the comments if they are civil, or you can contact me and we can talk more about them. So these are, if you are a street epistemologist and you're watching this video, these are for you to answer. As an atheist, do you think there are any good reasons for believing in God? And how does that inform your SE conversations with Christians?
I do not know if there are any good reasons for believing in God. So far in my life, I have not heard of a reason that I would consider to be a good reason. To answer the second part of the question, if someone were to provide a reason that I thought was a good reason, I would become a Christian.
Are you using street epistemology to try to get me to doubt? If you are just curious about my beliefs and want to explore them further, what are you going to do with what I have shared with you and why? Do you care about me and what I believe, or am I just sort of content for your channel, or just sort of an object on which you practice street epistemology?
Not exactly. I would like my interlocutors to think about their reasons for their belief and to examine them to see if they used a reliable method to determine them to be true. With regards to Christianity, I personally don't particularly care if you believe Christianity is true or any religion. However, if you have a belief that causes you to do harm to another person's well-being, I do care about that. In a case like that, I would be motivated to have you doubt your beliefs, but I don't think it would change the way I have the conversation. I'm not really curious about the specifics of your belief. I have a pretty good grasp on Christianity. I understand that different Christians hold different beliefs. I am more interested in why you believe it to be true, not so much as to what you believe. I care about my interlocutors. They are people. I value human well-being. I enjoy SE, and I know other people enjoy listening and watching SE. I also think it is something somebody could possibly watch my content and benefit from it.
Do you think, by practicing street epistemology with me, do you think you're helping me? And if so, in what way?
It really depends on the interlocutor. Some interlocutors likely will see a benefit. It may help them think of things they have never given thought to. I think that is a very healthy thing to do. Some may see no benefit at all.
Have you tried falsifying your belief that something cannot be trustworthy or reliable if it can't be falsified? If so, how did you do that?
So I'm going to kind of rephrase this into kind of my own words, the question. And what I'm hearing you ask is, can a belief of, if something cannot have a method to be demonstrated to be false, that we cannot know that it is true, be falsified? If I have a belief that we know is true but is unfalsifiable, then I suppose we would falsify the belief of something cannot be trustworthy if it cannot be falsified. However, I would say that the initial belief is actually falsifiable if we know it is true. Hopefully that wording makes sense. It was really difficult to explain.
How do you personally define God, and how do you know your definition of God is correct?
I define God as a supernatural being whom is typically considered the creator of everything. I don't have a belief in a God, so my definition is pretty irrelevant. I'm open to looking at any definition someone provides.
If you don't accept the Bible, how do you know your interpretation and understanding of the Bible is correct?
I understand that many Christians have a literal and many Christians have a non-literal interpretation of the Bible. However, I think most all Christians believe in the supernatural aspects of the Bible. I haven't heard any interpretation that doesn't include supernatural events. These are the parts of the Bible that I care about.
And who do you say that Jesus of Nazareth is? What historical information supports your idea of him?
I think Jesus is someone who was written about by a few different authors. Everything that is written about him could be 100% true. However, I've not seen sufficient evidence to warrant the supernatural abilities of Jesus. I don't really have any strong thoughts about Jesus otherwise.
If a Christian later deconverts because of your SE conversation, how would you help them if they return to you for advice about what to do next?
I would treat them like I would any friend. Be supportive.
Are you at all concerned about the mental health of the interlocutors whose faith you're challenging?
Yes, absolutely. If someone was unhealthy mentally, I would not conduct SE on them. If I noticed this midway through the conversation, I would probably just start talking just to them like a friend and not continue SE at that point. This also goes for someone who is grieving. I would not want to conduct SE on someone who is grieving.
Do you conceal your atheism from your interlocutor? If so, why? And if you conceal your atheism, are you really giving your interlocutor fully informed consent about your intentions and questions in your conversation?
No, I don't conceal my atheism.
And lastly, have you read Peter Boghossian's books?
No, I haven't read the books. I don't plan to.